Welcome to Event Head TV. Today I have with me the beautiful Eliska from Ruffles and Bells. Eliska is an event stylist and a wedding planner, and she has helped me with so many events, haven't you?
Yeah.
I love to do the back end management and logistics, and Eliska's talent is making it look beautiful. So welcome, Eliska.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, no worries. I would love for you to tell the people watching more about Ruffles and Bells and what it is you do and how you help brides and people who run their own events.
Ruffles and Bells is basically my little baby. It's been just starting from stumbling weddings and seeing so many beautiful things online, and I just basically fell in love with it. So Ruffles and Bells is a wedding and event styling company based in Melbourne. We also have a prop hire collection as well, and we just love creating so many amazing memories for our guests. It could be clients, it could be couples who are just going to be remembering their day just because they have something to celebrate about.
And I love it because we're a really good team.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I get all the organisation done, and then I say, Eliska, I need to make it look pretty. And then you come and make it look amazing.
Yeah.
So how do you work with your other clients who are in business? What type of events do you do with them?
Oh, there's so many vendors and people that I work with, which is amazing because we get to meet so many people. So it can be like school fundraisers or charity events and like product launches as well. We just did a bridal launch a few weeks ago, so something like that. It's always different. And the amazing thing is we get to create something so special for them because they have something they want to share, something they want to celebrate.
And it's something that is so hard to do yourself when you're in the throes of planning an event and taking care of everything from RSVPs to catering.
Everything.
So you're a blessing when it comes to
I'd like
that
to think
kind
of that
of
way.
thing.
Yeah.
And so how do you even go about creating these beautiful events? Like, I could come to you and say, oh, I like pink and mandarins. What do you do with that?
Those things are really important actually because we get to know you as a client and as a friend. That's we think of our couples and our clients as our friends. So we get to know you, like what do you love most or what do you hate most, the colors that you love. That makes such a big difference to what we do. So we start from colors. It could be stuff that you see online and you just you feel like that's something that speaks about you. So we love to create events that are very you. It's something that makes it special because your guests get to know you as well, especially for business events. It's your business, so you want something that your guests will be able to relate with, and it's all about you anyways. So there's so many things, like it could be so we deal with flowers and even the desserts. Sometimes, we can speak with a lot of dessert people to create something like the colors, or, if it's like a lifestyle workshop, for example, you want something healthier. So you wouldn't want to see so many sweet things there. So yeah, there are small details, basically.
That's really cool how you come at it with that approach. So it's more about taking their personality and bringing it into it rather than saying, okay, well, what's on trend at the moment is this, and this, and you should do that. It's a real collaboration and it's a real exploration of your client's ideas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it's great because it's great that you get to know the client. So when they step into the event, because usually, they trust us with the whole process. Like we work with a lot of event organizers like you. So you get to know them in a different way. We get to know them in a more like, creative and colors and stuff like that. So when they walk in, they can actually feel at home. Like, there's so many people, there's so many things that you see online and you can just get influenced by it. And like even me, I get really lost in it sometimes, but that's what we do basically as stylists. We get to know you deeper and we get to see a pattern most of the time. And at the end, like at least when you say, if you're a couple, when you walk into your wedding, you actually feel like this is actually about us, and your family feel that too, and your guests feel it too.
Oh, I've got warm and fuzzies. So thinking about the whole planning process then, when do you recommend people first get in touch with you? Because this is not something that can be done obviously last minute. It takes some planning.
The funny thing is we all know that, you know, people have busy lives. So you'd still want to, as much as people would like to start as early as possible, sometimes we don't realize that you actually need someone to be there. So there is a lot of clients that I get that they start from early beginning, like even without any idea of what they want to do yet. But then there are people who are, you know, last minute. So I think I would actually recommend starting from at least if you have an idea of the message that you want to deliver, or, you know, the message that you wanted to share to your guests, because that will emphasize what the event is all about. So it would be better if you can actually, you know, have an event organizer and event stylist all together, because that just makes everything so much easier.
The dream team.
Yeah, I know. And so because it could work in different ways as well. Say if a client goes to you as an event planner, and then you can talk to us and show us, you know, like a draft of, this is the message, this is what it is all about. And then we can start from there and just get to know the client from there as well.
But no people ringing you 2 days before saying...
Yeah, well, that would be, that would be crazy.
Well, we've all had that.
Yeah.
So working with your clients and thinking of all these incredible ideas and beautiful things to do, we know it costs money.
Yeah.
So when they do approach you, is it good for them to have an idea of their budget and their total spend in mind and know what they're looking at in that first meeting with you?
Yeah, it helps a lot, I think, because as much as, you know, we want to go do the whole shebang and stuff, we'd love to think that, you know, we'd love to put in consideration the practicality of things as well. The thing is, with stylists, we get to create so many things, from so simple things, like it could be impossible to do it, but we think outside the box in a way.
You're really good at that.
We try to. So basically it helps to have a budget, because at least we know there's an expectation, and sadly there are a lot of expenses that goes through an event, and it's important to put things into, you know, what is more important to you. So what we do as well in the planning process with styling an event is to prioritize what is important to the client too. So if you have a budget, at least we can work backwards and see, like, okay, this is what would have a maximum impact to your guests and to you and to what the event is all about.
Oh, I really like that idea. Yeah, and it's taking that one thing that's got maximum impact when they walk in those doors, because sometimes all the little things can get lost if there's nothing to tie them
and
together.
sometimes people don't realize that, you know, closer to the date, they get really panicky about, you know, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. But at least if you have a budget, you can always go back to it. And we go back to it as well. That's kind of like a guideline that we use. We create a mood board for you, we create like a lookbook for you, but the budget is there, so we know what flowers we can use, what decorations would work well. But then again, when your guests go in, open the door, you see a wow effect instantly, but it's not going to break your bank.
Thank God for that, because it can get expensive. It's funny because I've talked to a few people in the industry, different suppliers, and everybody has their own opinion on this. But we love Pinterest.
Yes.
And we love collecting images off the internet. But it does sometimes pose a problem in that people then have really high expectations of what they can get for their money. Do you find that when clients come to you with an inspiration board already made on Pinterest, that's something that is good for the event planning process? Or do you find that sometimes you think, oh, let's just start again and let's not be, like you said earlier, influenced by all these different things and get to the heart of what your event is really about?
I think it works both ways. See, we do use a lot Pinterest as well, because it just helps. The images are there, the colors are there. But having a mood board with you would help. But most people don't realize that there's actually a pattern with what you pin. So it's actually a useful tool for us. As stylists, we look at that pattern. That's funny enough you asked that, because one of the first things that we ask our clients when we meet them is if you have a Pinterest board. Because if you have, you can actually share it to us and we'll see the pattern and we'll read through it. And from there, most of the time we create this mood board with the help of their Pinterest or with the help of photos that they've just saved on their phones and stuff like that. And they just go, yeah, this is exactly what I was thinking. Because there can be so many influences online. Your friends could have, a different event and you feel like that's actually looks cool and I want something like that. But as event planners and event stylists, what we do is we kind of narrow it down. So the pattern is there, and Pinterest, I think it's a good tool, but as long as we're quite honest with our client as well, like we tell them, okay, this is the budget that you have, this is the inspiration that you want, so this is what we're gonna do, and we just have to detail everything to them, and most of the time they're like, okay, yeah, this is the reality of things. And this is exactly what I want anyways, and you do understand me, so there's not going to be a problem with it.
Yeah. So there is room for a Pinterest
There
board.
is, yes, there is.
And so finally, what I'd really love to hear, for anybody who hasn't worked with a stylist before for their events, I'd love to know what your top tips are. So let's make it about business owners who want to run their own events. So whether it be launches, workshops, presentations, and they want to engage an event stylist for the very first time, what are your tips?
I would say, first and foremost is don't forget to put yourself in the equation. Just to elaborate on that is, in every event there is always a message that you want to share or a story that you wanted to tell. So that's one thing that we wanted to hear as stylists. We love, as we said, we love creating so many unique events and celebrations for everyone. So reminding yourself that, this is about you, this is something that you wanted to tell people about. Like what you mentioned before, tell us if you hate a color. Tell us if there's something when you walk in, you don't want to see this or you'd want to see it. That helps us a lot with the process. And it just makes it more makes it more unique as well. So yeah, another tip for me is just to think outside the box. It's cliche, but I think it's good to be open about things that you can actually create, and being open about certain ideas that are not, as long as it's in the budget. So as long as you're honest with with what you wanted to tell, if you're passionate with what your guests to see, that is actually a very big impact for talking to your stylist too. Because for us, if we feel we work on passion, we work on creating things, and we connect so easily with clients that do that as well. So if you're a coffee company and you wanted to create something unique, just tell us your story. Just tell us what you are about, what started the company, what you would want your guests to feel, and that basically just ticks every box for us. And that our minds go crazy with things like that, because what happens is it just starts this creative process, brainstorming and stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh my God, you make me want to plan my wedding again. And run a couple of launches. Well, if you want some inspiration for your events and even your own personal celebrations, I really recommend you check out Eliska's work at www.rufflesandbells.com.au. Thank you so much for being here today, Eliska.
Thank you.